All right, hello, government students. So I want to do this little short video to make sure you had very clear instructions on this identifying media bias homework assignment. So we've been talking in class last couple days about the news media, the role of news media, and also looking at bias in news media and how we want to be able to identify that if a certain news article maybe has more of a liberal slant on it or more of a conservative slant on it. And that's really the purpose of the homework assignment that we're going to be doing. So in Google Classroom, you'll find the assignment located under Unit 4. Okay, this video is in there along with the Google Sheets that you're looking at. So you're going to open up the Google Sheets. You're going to make yourself a copy so then you can work right in this Google Sheet that I have set up for you. Okay, so how this is set up is that I put 3 different topics on here. I chose a topic that's pretty easy to find information on, a topic that's maybe easy to find a difference between maybe a conservative source and a liberal source. So I have immigration, gun rights, and the presidential election as 3 topics. Okay, for each of those 3 topics, you're going to have to find an article that you believe has a conservative slant and an article that you believe has a liberal slant to it. Okay, and then, okay, next to that, you put the source, the name of so you'll put the link there, but then just so it's easy to see the name of the news outlet. Is it a CNN article, a Politico article, a Fox News article? Okay, where does the article come from? Okay, then give a short summary. I'm not asking for something long here, 50, 100 words, maybe a few couple sentences. Just what's the article about? Okay, and then why is the article biased? And that part's maybe about a little bit more than a couple sentences. Okay, so maybe 3, 4 sentences in each of those. Okay, so then you're going to do the same on the liberal side as well. Okay, so you'll find a liberal link. So I'll actually fill that in blue here. Okay, so that'll be the liberal bias link, and I'll fill this in red as the conservative bias link. Okay, so you'll put the liberal bias link for each story. So you'll find a liberal immigration story, an immigration story with a liberal bias, a gun rights story with the liberal bias, and a presidential election story about, say, Donald Trump and Joe Biden that maybe has a liberal bias to it. Again, name of the source, an article summary, okay, about 50 to 100 words, and then in this last column, why is the article biased? Now, you notice in here, and why is the article biased? And that's a key part of this. Okay, and in it, I say use the reasons that we discussed in all sides. Now, we've talked about this in class, but if you go back to look at the lecture slides we use, there's a website called allsides.com. I've linked it actually in the lecture slides, but if you just go to allsides.com, it'll take you to this webpage. Okay, allsides.com is really designed to help learn about media bias and also try to provide news sources from the left, the right, and the center. There's a few different websites out there. The Flip Side is something I use, okay, as well. So there's a number of websites now that are designed to give you and automatically give you news on each side of the political ideology, okay, to try to get a balanced perspective, which we talked about is so important. So to remember, going back to this, you go up to media bias, okay, and then it says types of media bias. Okay, and we discussed this in class, but I want to make sure you knew how to find it. Okay, the 11 types of media bias. Okay, so as you from and you see them listed here, from spin to slant, flawed logic. Okay, bias by omission, not including certain things in it. Okay, mudslinging, sensationalism. So as you find these different things that point towards a bias, and this is the hard part of it, this is the challenge, this is the practice to it, this is what you want to include in why is the article biased. So maybe include a couple, maybe try to find at least 2, okay, different reasons why you believe the article is biased, okay? Now, to help finding articles, okay, you just go right here to allsides.com. This is a good thing, okay. And if you, in fact, if you, I don't want everybody doing the same articles, but if you go to topics, okay, like let's look at gun control, gun rights, okay. This gives you a bunch of different articles here, but it even organizes some articles from the left over here, more liberal slant, some articles over here from the right. Again, don't let everybody pick the first article. Try to find an article maybe that interests you. And maybe it's actually a little easier to write about if you can find that clear slant. And even looking at headlines are a great way to try to find the bias. Okay, and we looked at a couple of those different headlines in class together, but that'll help kind of point you in the right direction. But allsides.com is a place you go. Again, there's a number of the flip side is another one, a number of places that will help you find news on each side of an issue to help you with this. Okay, so hopefully these instructions are helpful. Okay, giving you plenty of time to complete the assignment. But again, what's important here is as we go out in the world today, looking at the election, reading our social media, wherever we get our news from, we need to be able to identify when news is biased. Okay, because there is a lot of biased news out there, and then we want to work on, okay, maybe let's try to focus on getting news from those sources that aren't biased. Okay, myself, I try to get a majority of my news from news that's in the middle. Okay, but at the same time, I do spend time reading liberal biased articles, and I try to read conservative articles as well to try to get different sides of the story. So that's really the main point of this. So hopefully these instructions kind of help you understand what we're looking for on this, points you to where you could get the information you need to help you complete it. Okay, but that's what we're looking for. Good luck with that.